Hey all, welcome to the slide on what is Ayanamsha and the main difference between the Western and the Indian astrology system. So before I start, let me first change these pointer options to laser. Okay, so this is quite a familiar diagram to many of us whom have done primary and secondary education. We know that the Earth is revolving around the sun, which is at the center, and the Earth is actually tilted on its axis at an angle of 23.5 degrees. So it's because of this tilt, okay, you have the winter solstice that happens at the northern hemisphere and the summer solstice having at the southern hemisphere in the December part of the year, because the sun's rays is closer to the southern hemisphere than compared to the northern hemisphere. And as the earth revolves around the sun, you have vernal equinox happening during March, and as the earth reaches this portion of the revolution, the ecliptic, you have summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, as the northern hemisphere is closer to the sun compared to the southern hemisphere, and therefore you have winter solstice in the southern hemisphere. So this is a known fact for most of us, and this has a very important part in Ayanamsha's concept and in Vedic astrology, in the difference between Vedic and the English astrology or the Western astrology. So moving forward, this is known as the ecliptic, where it is the plane which the earth revolves around the sun. So we have earth centered, and we have the celestial equator, and we have the celestial sphere. So what is this celestial sphere? Basically, in astronomy, it's the celestial sphere is an abstract sphere that has an arbitrarily large radius and is concentric to earth. All objects in the sky can be conceived as being projected upon the inner surface of the celestial sphere, which may be centered on Earth or the observer. So basically, you have all your distant stars, the constellations, the rashis, that are actually placed on the celestial sphere. These stars, distant stars, are part of the universe, and it's projected onto this celestial sphere. So you have the north celestial pole as indicated here in the diagram, and here you have the ecliptic, which is actually inclined to the celestial equator. And ecliptic has a zodiac portion, is a belt. Okay, so what is a zodiac? It's actually a belt which is projected upon the ecliptic at an angle of 18 degrees wide, and it's placed obliquely to the equator. Okay, the zodiac is actually divided into 12 equal parts called rashis, or if you divide the rashis even further, you have 27 equal nakshatras. So the ecliptic passes through the center of this band. So to be more specific, so you have 9 degrees to the latitude of the ecliptic. So in this direction you call it the longitude, and in this direction is the latitude. You have 9 degrees to it, and another 9 degrees to the bottom of it, and it's this entire 18 degrees which is known as the zodiac band. So you have all the other planets, such as in consideration with Vedic astrology, you have Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, Mercury, Venus, which revolves around the ecliptic, along this zodiac band. Okay. So this is an example of how it is like how our ancient sages have actually divided the zodiac. So for example, here you have Dhanusha Rasi, or also known as the Sagittarius. You have Pisces here, in the shape of the fish. So actually they connect the stars to look, and they looked something like this, and they named it such. Okay. So moving forward, so when the sun moves across the ecliptic, at this point you call it the winter solstice, and when the sun reaches here you call it the summer solstice. So this ecliptic is actually the apparent path of the sun. It's not the actual path, because in actual fact the sun is fixed and you have the earth that revolves around the sun. But in this case, for this description purpose, we have fixed the earth, and so what happens is the sun will seem to be revolving around the earth. It becomes the apparent path, so it's not the actual path. Okay, it's an imaginary path. Okay, and here you have the celestial equator, and the intersection between the ecliptic and the celestial equator is known as the vernal equinox. So this point happens between March 21st, as of now, 2019 AD, and this is known as the sun's entry into Aries sign. So this is a system that has been widely used in Western astrology. But in actual fact, the earth, though it's tilted at an angle of 23.5 degrees, it's actually also wobbling, and in 13,000 years from now, the Earth's axis will be actually pointing somewhere near the Vega star. So currently it's pointing at Polaris, and later on it will point towards Vega. So the Earth is also rotating or wobbling. So it's because of this fact, okay, as explained before, we have the current vernal equinox. This has been previously explained, sun's entry into Aries sign. But because of the wobbling effect, the vernal equinox is actually receding at a rate of 51 seconds per year. Okay, so what is this 51 seconds? Any point on the ecliptic has a longitude degree to it. Okay, so for the Western astrology, this vernal equinox is the start point of Aries, 0 degrees, and as you go increase, it goes up to 30, 60, 90, until it reaches here around 360 degrees, which is again the 0 degree mark. Okay, so so any point on the ecliptic has a degree notation to it, and it has a minute notation to it, and it also has a seconds notation to it. So 60 minutes makes 1 degree, and 60 seconds makes 1 minute. So it's all in terms of degrees, and this seconds is actually what we refer here as the 51 seconds of the receding of the vernal equinox. So what does this mean? In the future, based on Western astrology, the vernal equinox will, example 5000 AD, will happen to be here due to the receding effect of the intersection between the celestial equator and the ecliptic. And the future start point of Aries will then be also shifted according to Western astrology, which is known as the Sayana or the tropical zodiac. But in actual fact, we do not want this situation, because we want our zodiac, our rashis to be fixed, the stars to be fixed, and the planets to actually revolve around them. But in this case, it looks like the rashis also will be shifting, and this is not a concept that is correct. So this is where the Indian sages, they were well aware of all this, and what they did, in 285 AD, this was where the vernal equinox, and this exactly coincided with the actual start point of Aries that the ancient sages fixed. So here is the actual start point of Aries, which happened around 285 AD. And how do they know where is the start point of Aries? It's actually opposite to the star Spica or Chitra on the ecliptic. So you have Chitrae somewhere around here, or Spica, and opposite to it is actually the start point of Aries. And the sun's entry into Aries sign, based on the Indian astrology as of now, happens on the 14th of April, which is here. And this is known as the Nirayana or the Sidereal Zodiac. So moving further, so let's fix let's remove everything and fix the points. So B will be the current vernal equinox as of 21st March 2019 AD, which has been used in the tropical or the Sayana zodiac, which is also the system that the Western astrologers use. And we have the Indian astrology system that is using the sidereal or the Nirayana zodiac, where you have the vernal equinox that happened in 285 AD, which coincided with the start point of Aries. And let's call this angle BAC. And let's place a planet P, a random planet P. You can have maybe Mars or Saturn. You place it here, or you can have a Jupiter being placed as an example planet, and you have angle BAC as the Ayanamsha. So what is Ayanamsha? Ayanamsha is basically the difference between the sidereal and the tropical zodiac. So it's about 24 degrees. So you have a rate of average rate of 51 seconds. It's not the actual rate, but it's an average rate. And if you multiply it by the difference of 2019, the year now, and 285 AD, it's roughly around 24 degrees. And so angle BAP is the Sayana or the tropical longitude of a planet placed on the ecliptic that has been used in the Western astrology. And angle CAP is the Nirayana or the sidereal longitude of a planet placed on the ecliptic. This is used in the Indian astrology system. So therefore angle CAP, which is CAP plus angle BAC, is equals to angle BAP. So this is simple mathematics. So the Nirayana longitude or the sidereal longitude plus the Ayanamsha is equal to the Sayana or the tropical longitude. And therefore the difference is the Nirayana longitude is actually the Sayana longitude minus the Ayanamsha. So here, this is where you have Ayanamsha coming into account, and it makes the difference between the tropical and the sidereal longitude. And it's because of this Ayanamsha that the Indian sages takes into account, and that is why if you realize that your sun sign in Vedic astrology, usually for those who have the sun's longitude more than 6 degrees in a sign, they will realize that their sun sign will be different to their Western astrology sun sign. So if you are, if your sun's longitude is around maybe 7 degrees or 8 degrees on Taurus, okay, based on Indian astrology system, then you naturally happen to be a Gemini, based on Western sun sign. So this is the main reasons, and I hope this is quite clear. And so therefore, thank you very much, and I hope to see you in the future videos of mine. And if you have any comments, please state your comments on the comment section below, and I'll try to answer them. Thank you very much.